Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In previous session, we already discussed about what is inheritance and how we can use inheritance to reduce a code, to reduce a duplicate code and ease of a coding maintenance. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the type of the inheritance. So basically, inheritance is the fundamental concept in a object-oriented programming that allows you to create a new classes that we call as a child classes or the derived classes based on the existing classes, our base classes or the parent classes. So inheritance, there are several types of inheritance in the OOPS in Java. So let's see that. So in inheritance, we have simple or single inheritance. Then the second is multi-level inheritance. Third is hierarchical inheritance. Fourth is multiple inheritance. And the fifth is hybrid inheritance. So these five types of inheritance that we are going to discuss in this OOPS concept series. So the first three types, that is simple or single inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance, are directly supported in Java. So using with the help of Java, we can directly implement this inheritance. But for the multiple and hybrid inheritance, those inheritance are not directly supported in Java. For that, we need to take use of the interface. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about the first three types of inheritance and the example how to implement that using Java. So we are going to see end-to-end implementation for the first three types of inheritance. For the multiple and the hybrid inheritance, I will cover that after we understand the concept of the interface. So that will come at the end of this OOPS concept series. So in today's session, let's discuss the first with the simple or the single inheritance. So for that, for the simple and single inheritance that we already implemented in our previous session. So what exactly the simple or the single inheritance? So suppose this is my class A or class 1 and this is my another class that is class B. So basically this my class A is the parent class and class B is the child class. So using the class A, I have derived this child class B. So in previous session, we created the same thing. We created the class A as the parent class and we created the class B as the child class. You can give the any class name and using the extend keyword, we created this class B as a child class and whatever the functionality, whatever the methods, variable, the class members available in the class A, we can access that in the class B because that is a child class. So we already implemented this in our previous session. I will show you that again using the Eclipse, how to do that. But first, let's understand the concept. So this is the simple inheritance type. Then the second one is the multi-level. So for the multi-level, I will again create here the three classes. So at a multi-level, there can be any number of classes. For right now, I'm creating just three classes. So my first class name is class A. Then the second class is the class B. And I'm creating this third class that is the class C. Okay. And how these are interconnected? So my class A is the parent class and class B is the child class of the class A. And class B is the parent class for the class C and class C is the child class for the class B. I can create any number of classes below that as well. So I can create the class D as well and I can create this class C as the parent class for my class D or the class D as a child class for the class C. So basically this is the super class. This is the parent class. Then class B is the child class and the class B is the parent class of the class C. So this is a multi-level. there are different level in this inheritance. So how to implement that? That we will see using the Eclipse. I explained this hierarchical as well. So what is hierarchical inheritance? So for that, I will create again the three classes, but here the implementation is a different. So here you can see this is a class A, this is my class B, and this is my class C. So these are the three classes available and how these are interrelated. So my class A is the parent class and which is having these two classes as the child. So this class A is the parent and this class B and class C are the child classes. So I'm having one class as the parent and the two child classes. Okay. So that we call as a hierarchical inheritance. So let's see how to implement that. So we are going to see three implementation: simple or single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. So let's see that. First, we are going to discuss about the single inheritance. In a single inheritance, a class can inherit attributes and methods from only one single parent class. This is the simplest form of an inheritance. For example, if you have a vehicle class, you might create a car class that inherits from the vehicle. So here in the previous session, we already discussed this example. Here I have created this class A as my parent class and where I define these two methods, the sum and the multiplication. So in the first class, I'm doing addition of the two number and multiply by it 2. And in the second class, I'm doing the same thing, addition of the two number, but here I'm multiplying it by 4. And here I have added one more method, that is the subtraction method. And in the class C, I'm doing the execution where I have created my main method. So here you can see I can access the methods from the parent class as well as child class. But if I create a object of the class A, then I can only access the methods of the class A only. This we already covered in the previous session. So let's move to the next type of inheritance, that is multi-level inheritance. In a multi-level inheritance, you have a chain of inheritance with more than two level of classes. A class is a derived from base class and another class is a derived from the first derived class, forming a hierarchical structure that we already discussed. So let's see how to implement that. So for the implementation under this OOPS concept, I'm creating one more sub package, new package OOPS concept dot. And for that, I'm creating the three classes. The first one is my parent class. Okay. Then the second one is, first I will create the classes and then I will explain the functionality. The second one is my derived class, that is the first child. So I will give the name as the child 1. And I'm creating one more class, new class, name as a child 2. And one more class for the main method. So here I'm creating a main method execution, that will be the class name. I'm giving the execution as the class name for the main method. So in the parent class, I will create one method. So public void, again sum I will write, and I am passing to integer value and the a and the b. Okay, and I'm just doing a sum a plus b and I'm printing this value. Oh, sorry. I written this in main method. Okay. So in the parent class, so what I will do now, let's remove this one. So the first I will create one method in the my parent class. So I will create one method name as a public void sum, and here I am passing the two arguments, the two integer int a and int b, and I am printing the addition of these two numbers. Okay, so this is just one method having in the parent class. Child one, we need to extend parent. Okay, so here I will write a subtraction method only. Sub, again I am passing two integers int a and int b, and I am printing the subtraction of the two number, that is a minus b. Okay, the third class, that is the child to class, will extend the child one class. Now you can understand this multi-level because the first is the parent, then child 1 and then child 2. So there are different level in this inheritance. So here I will create one method named as a public void multiplication, and here I am again taking two numbers int a and int b, and I am doing multiplication of these two numbers a multiplied by b, and I am printing that value. So in the execution, first I will create object for this class, parent. Okay, so for that, parent o is equal to new parent. Okay? And let's see which methods are exposed to this parent class. So o dot, now you can see we can only access this sum method here because the parent class cannot access the child class method or any variable. So I will run this first, sum 10 and 5, and let's run this program. We are getting the output as a 15. Now I will create a object for the child one class which extends my parent class. So I'm expecting it should have access to the parent class methods as well. So let's see that child one o is equal to new child o dot sum. Yes, we are not getting any error because the child one had because the child one have access to the parent class method as well. So let's see what other methods are visible to this class. So subtraction is also visible and sum is visible. So let's do the subtraction here. I'm passing the same value again, 10, 5, and let's run this program. Output is 15 and 5. That's correct. The third one is child 2, right? Let's create the object for this class, child 2. Right now, using the child 1 object, I cannot access the child 2 methods, but using the child 2 object, I can access the parent class method, child 1 class method, as well as the child 2 class method, that is this multiplication method. Let's provide the same value, 10 and 5, and let's rerun this code again. Now we are getting output 15, 5 and 15. So that's correct. So this is the concept of the multi-level inheritance. Let's quickly move to the next type of inheritance, that is hierarchical inheritance. In hierarchical inheritance, multiple classes inherit from a single base class. That means that there are multiple child classes that share a common parent class. For example, you could have a shape class and then create a circle, rectangle, and triangle classes, all of which inherit from the shape. Okay, so this is the simple example of the hierarchical inheritance. For that, I will again create one more package here and I will explain you. Obsconcept dot hierarchical inheritance. For that, I'm again creating the three classes. The first one is the parent class. Okay. And the two child classes, that is the two subclasses. So for that, I will give the name subclass 1, and I will create one more class name as the subclass 2. And I will create one more class for the main method. So give it name as the execute. Okay, and here I will create a main method. So for that, I'm using the same example of the triangle. So in my parent class, let me close the previous one. Okay. So in my parent class, I'm just creating one method, public void shape. Okay. And here I'm giving the name as this is shape class. So basically, using this class, the basically we under the shape we have the different shapes, right? So we have a triangle, we have a circle, and then we have a rectangle. So the main class is the shape class, and that is the parent class. And this one is our parent class, which is which is a super class, and there are different subclasses. So in this subclass, I'm just creating method public void triangle, and I'm just printing the message. This is triangle class, and in the for that I need to extend as well. So I'm extends this parent. Okay, and save this. And in the subclass 2, I again need to extend parent only, because this is hierarchical inheritance. Parent is my superclass and two subclasses, and for that I will create a method public void square, and I'm printing a message. This is square class. Okay. So let's do the execution quickly. So for that, first I will create method. So for that, first I will create the object for this class parent. Parent O is equal to new parent, and let's do the execution. O dot, now you can see I'm only have the access to the shape method, because the parent can access only the parent class method or the class member. So let's do the execution. We are just printing the message. So let's see what the output we are getting. This is a shape class. Now I will create the subclass object. So here the subclass 1 and subclass 1 O dot shape. I can access this method. Apart from that, I can access this triangle method as well. But I cannot access the subclass 2 method. Okay. So subclass 1 method I can access here, as well as the parent class method. So let's do the execution. This is the shape class, this is the triangle class. And suppose I'm creating the object for the subclass 2. In that case, you can see I'm getting the error for this triangle method. Why? Because this method is not accessible to the subclass 2. Subclass 2 can access the method or the class member for the from the parent class, but it cannot access the methods from the another child class. Okay, so for that I need to remove this one, and if you see I can access the square but not the triangle method. So let's do the execution for this one. This is a shape class and this is the square class. So in today's session we discuss about three types of inheritance: simple or single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. Multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance, those inheritance are not directly supported in Java, that we covered once we completed the interface part. So that's it for the today, guys. Hope you like this session. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Have a nice day.